Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, welcome to the KVJ ATS Podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, just crazy. We're moving into this real fast. There's hallway chatter about a mutual friend that we have that we need to do some things to help them out. When we know and can say, we'll let you know.
Yeah, so we just caught some news. It was
Yeah.
right where we're going on. So
Yeah. So it's of a friend that I really admire and love, this individual that is struggling with their health right now.
Aww.
Yeah, apparently. So
Well, we'll rally and we'll get the details, and we'll definitely do whatever we can.
absolutely, yeah. In fact, I think we're going to involve hopefully our radio audience to help them. There's some people that might know who this is, but when we can know and say and all that kind of good stuff, and it gets to that point, then we'll definitely let you know. But out of respect, right now, we're going to get the details and then figure out what's up. So. Apologize for starting on a weird note.
Yeah.
Just what happens.
well, it doesn't sound weird.
Yeah.
It starts off with this. The music's playing.
Like, what? What happened?
Well,
Is this real?
I'd heard the news. Somebody had texted me about it earlier, and I was like, no, I think they'd had the story wrong. And, for me, I'm like, I'd heard someone else had made a comment about it. I'm like, well, please give me a status
Tell me what's really
update.
going on
Yeah,
here.
because I need to know. It's something is going to be in my head, and it's going to bother me. So I wanted, that kind of stuff. I'm not typically a nosy person, but when it comes to somebody's overall well-being, I would like to know that they are okay. So anyway, we'll figure it out and sort it out later.
Question. I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but this is the podcast, and I know Rocco's in here. Does this mean we're not going to swear or?
No, you can swear.
I feel
Virginia says the MF are right in front of him all the time.
I know,
And then he goes right to school and says it. So the thing is, it'd be good if you could, because that way Virginia won't take all the blame. You'd be like, well, what's going on with your kid? He's coming in here, he's dropping F-bombs all over the place. You'd be going, you know what? That's probably Jaybird, because I had him in the studio for the After the Show podcast. And
Jaybird's filthy mouth.
Jaybird kept swearing, and it was a weird, rare thing because Rocco wasn't feeling well. He had to come here. So I'll talk to Jaybird about his mouth, but it wasn't me this time.
I'm just not going to swear. I don't feel cool with it.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
You be you, baby.
Okay.
Baby. Got a little info here on the Whacked Out News today. There's a story about this Ocala rapper that went onto Facebook, and he dropped this rhyme, and in the second verse, he basically talked about going to Gainesville and UF's campus and basically causing some kind of violence or havoc or attacking somebody. And so we were just like, okay, is that covered because it was done in song? It was on Facebook. But, I mean, if that's it, if I wanted to do a threat ever, all I'd have to do is just sing the damn thing. I mean, if you're always protected, I'm going to kill you, U-S-O-B. And you'd be like, hey, that's not a big deal.
I'm going to kill Virginia. Kill Virginia. Everybody.
Right.
You better bring a friend or two. I can definitely take you.
But that's just what I'm wondering. So if you're doing it, being, hey, you can't take me seriously, I can't get in trouble.
It's my art, man.
Well, you're seeing people now are getting in a lot of trouble when they go onto social media and they post some kind of threat about going and blasting up a school or something like that. What do? The cops go right over and they get arrested for making terroristic threats. That's what they got this guy for. But it's in a song.
You are going to get to a point where someone's going to say, look, man, this is my art. And I'm not defending. I think it's stupid to talk about shooting up a school. I think it's dumb to put that in a song. But with that said, they could have a possible case because he could say it's art, it's not real.
Well, and what's the dividing line? A dude named Kevin sent us this email, said, hey, I heard about the rapper using the lyrics suggestion about shooting up the college campus. Some of you may remember the band that Ice-T formed called Body Count. Their hit song Cop Killer caused a massive uproar on the national news scene, especially within the police force. That was a terribly violent and awful song, but I believe that they were protected by law back then. Not today, of course. The label re-released the album minus that song, but I had a copy of the original as in high school. Just like Jay Bird, I would be interested to find out what the law or when the law stopped protecting musicians, no matter how offensive the lyrics. And I'm kind of curious, and I'm not sure that they re-released it without that song because it was illegal or they get in trouble. I think it was just like, okay, it was hard to defend. It was like, okay, in the era that we're on, we've had so many cops that have died in the line of work that they just are like, look, we don't want to take it on. Like, there are police unions and all this kind of stuff, and it's like maybe the label's just like, today it's a lot easier to organize a big thing to go against this label for putting out the one song that honestly wasn't that good in the first place. I mean, it's not like, it ain't like this is a big, huge hit.
Yeah, comedians go through this stuff too. A lot of comedians, you may not like their act, you may deem it as offensive, but what they always say is well, if you go to a movie and someone's violently killing somebody and doing terrible things and you're watching that, we're doing the same kind of thing. We're up here telling a story that's not necessarily real. Why are movies protected and comedians are? That's where a lot of comedians
It's still
say.
art. It's different.
Yeah, and there was Jim Norton, the comedian, was in a debate with a woman who was saying, your comedy is so offensive. You say terrible things about women, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I understand you're offended by that. I get that. But you yourself have on your Facebook page a picture of Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Goldblum was in a movie that was violent, where there was sexual bad stuff going on.
Right.
So you support that, but you're trying to shut me down. And it's an interesting debate.
All this stuff is tough. Yeah, I mean, when you really start dissecting it and where we are, because you want to cut off the actual acts early. That's why they get the terroristic threats and all that kind of stuff, because we want a reason to be able to bring you in to go through your fanny with a fine-tooth comb to see, are you really a threat or not?
Are you capable of pulling this off?
So that's why I think, in essence, they do that. They're, in a sense, really trying to stop the physical act. It's not the words itself, because, yeah, you can't do that. But where do they – this has always been the issue with the dividing lines and the freedom of speech and what you can say. And I think it's all about with the words bleeding into actions. And if they start doing this kind of stuff, like if they get this kid on the Facebook page – why wouldn't they go get – my daughter has songs that she's playing. I'm going, whoa, hey. And I even hear stuff as I'm just listening to streaming music and try to listen to the new stuff that's out there. I'm just like –
It's offensive.
Well, and there's some stuff that, like I said, there was a South Florida rapper that rapped about killing somebody and then actually killed somebody, and then they wound up arresting him. And it's like, okay, so whenever there's anything about murder or, I went out and there was one song I heard the other day. Just came up. It was like, so I shot him. It's like, okay, so if that's the case, you have recorded yourself basically admitting that you went out and committed an act which would be a crime, so we can go arrest you. But is it because, well, he's an artist that's getting paid for it, he has a record contract, that you can't be arrested for that? Meanwhile, low-budget guy doing it on Facebook can. Well, really?
And you also have to look at the material and say, okay, is it offensive or is it inciting violence? And when you start to get to the area of your words are inciting violence, that's when you can get into that area of being in trouble.
So I don't know. If that guy had a good attorney, would he be able to get out of his little rap song that he did? I would think so. But I don't know. Who knows? So maybe we'll find out as it goes down what happens. Somebody got an interesting thought in here. We're talking to Annette, round 2 today. She's the one that had loaned her brother $3,000 for the engagement ring, and then was like, okay, they broke up, or at least she left him for a while. Doesn't know what the status of that relationship is, and now she needs a vet bill. So she's like, the only source I got is trying to go to my brother to get it, but he doesn't have it. Like, he just doesn't have it. And I was reading off some pointers that somebody had saying, okay, first of all, if you're going to do this, typically you give a gift. But if you expect money back, you need to establish a payment plan with it. And if you are going to ask for like a sizable loan from somebody, don't make it a pattern. You basically have one time.
Once.
Yeah, you have a one-time hardship type, hey, could you help me out kind of thing. And Jen from the Pizzle said, for Annette's situation, I actually disagree with what you guys are saying. Her brother had asked to borrow the money, and she said yes. Unless he was supposed to pay it back by the date, then she can't really hold it against him. just because something comes up in her life, he obviously doesn't have it to give back to her right away. So, that's really kind of it. And you're right. It is a two-way street because she put the ring on her credit card. She is the one that said yes. And so you got yourself a lot to blame, Annette, for why you're in this situation. She seemed like she was more upset with her parents than she was with her because her parents were like, we're not going to give you the money. We don't loan them money.
Yeah, they knew better.
Yeah.
It does suck. And like I always say, if you can't afford to give it as a gift, don't give it.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. On the duct tape bikini, somebody had an idea, said, why not just get everyone into it and do a KVJ duct tape bikini calendar to sell for donations to Little Smiles? A good idea or an unholy abomination?
I'm down. I'm more the one that does the crazier shit here. Like when you brought that idea up, I got excited. I had like 9 ideas about it. You all don't want to do that bullshit.
He's picturing himself on a beach, photo shoot, spread out.
Yeah.
Look,
like a Chris Isaac video.
Right.
I would love for you guys to get involved. You don't think I would love to take the afternoon and do a whole duct tape bikini photo shoot with you
Right.
son of a bitches? Of course.
We are doing a photo shoot very soon. Sarah from Twitter is going to do
Yeah.
our photography.
Can we please get a new photo?
We
I
are.
don't look anything like the thing that's on the vehicle.
Okay, I mean, you don't look that different. You're still the same guy.
I'm the same man inside. I don't look like that, though.
I don't think you look that different, do you?
Oh, I think I look older, and I have, it's definitely a different picture for sure.
All right. Well, we're doing new pictures very soon.
Good.
Headshots, group photos, all of that.
I got to get this new hair on that vehicle.
It's true.
Yeah. Got to make that happen. Yeah, and I don't know. Does anybody do calendars anymore? Is that something like people actually have a calendar and they hang it up with the pictures like they used to? That was a very, to me, I thought like 80s or 90s thing. I mean, with everybody having their phones today like they do.
At work, though, I could see where that would be. You could hang it up by where you work, and so you just look up to see what day it is.
Okay. All right. I guess people are. Question here from an email we got said, my wife and I were at the Olive Garden. We were getting down on the bottomless salad when a manager told me that I had eaten too much and I couldn't have any more.
What?
We were on our 7th bowl of salad when the manager said that we had to order something else off the menu and that the bottomless salad was over. Bottomless means bottomless, right? Sure weren't ordering any other food, but we all did order sodas, and we were going to tip well. I wanted to see what you guys thought. Were we in the wrong, or was it Olive Garden? I was curious to see what you guys thought on that.
So the bottomless salad, does that come free at Olive Garden, or do you have to buy that? I think you have to buy the round.
Yeah, you buy the bottomless salad and breadsticks, but doesn't that come with an entree?
No, I think you can just get bottomless. I'm pretty sure you can just get the salad.
I thought so too. I thought it was something you could get. Yeah, because for me, I really do enjoy that a lot. That's the favorite thing for me. So, I don't eat as much bread anymore, and the garlic chews me up. But if I did, that'd be what I want. And bottomless, Noel in the chat room said bottomless is bottomless. Yeah, I mean, if I paid for that, for the condition of it being bottomless, it'd be like, okay, imagine with brunch. You go to get bottomless Bloody Marys or bottomless mimosas. Now, I can see they cut you off because you're like way too hammered. And sorry, that's when bottomless is not.
When you actually get bottomless.
Yeah, you got bottomless and you just peed on the table, then, you get cut off. But, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're composed and you're on your 12th Bloody Mary, and they're like going, sorry, it's not because you're hammered, it's because you've ordered too many on the bottomless. No, that to me is breaking the agreed upon contract. It's a contract.
That's probably not an Olive Garden. That's probably a manager going rogue on that one, and that's annoyed. That's probably not Olive Garden's policy.
I think that's a rogue manager who was annoyed and maybe didn't like their attitude, and he's like, let me flex my little managerial muscle.
Look, people go rogue at
every place.
At chain places, and then the chain looks bad, and it's not the chain's fault.
You're right. You can't control these rogue managers.
I stand up for Olive Garden. I have been called a bad Italian because I love Olive Garden so much. I'm sorry. Bottomless anything is amazing, and I'd be heartbroken if I'm going for my ace salad and they go, oh, no.
Olive Garden or Carrabba's?
Olive Garden all day
Really?
and twice on Sunday.
You pick Olive Garden over Carrabba's?
Tell me, when Carrabba's starts talking bottomless, then you'll pique my interest.
Carrabba's has better food. I guess I'm just about quality, not quantity.
Look, the taste of is it called the taste of Little Italy? It's like it's 3 different dinners in one plate. It's kind of hard. Virginia's scolding Rocco as she's talking to me.
Rocco's literally in the corner making phone calls. He's calling people. I'm like, Rocco, you got to turn that off. Got to turn it down softer. I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying not to swear. I think someone reminded me. Yeah, dude, you swore 4 times already.
Who cares?
I know.
I don't care.
I hear you.
Let me see. Yeah, so I think we're settled on bottomless is bottomless. Somebody was talking about the woman that called out Virginia for sticking her tongue out because she thinks it's sleazy and tacky, and worst of all, she said now Magnolia's doing it, implying she thinks Magnolia's sleazy and tacky too. Virginia gave it back to her. Nuh-uh. You're not going to write and say negative things about baby Magnolia, the first KVJ baby. I did the legwork, and as of today, here are the most recent dates Virginia stuck her tongue out. Personal Instagram, March 24th, the 23rd, and the 18th on St. Patty's Day. KVJ Instagram, April 3rd, March 29th, and March 5th. This judgy bee needs to check herself and realize that her morals, thoughts, and opinions do not apply to everyone. If she's really mad that 3 out of the last 20 pics on her personal IG and 3 of the last 60-ish on the KVJ Instagram show Virginia with her signature beautiful open mouth pose, she can go scratch. Love you, KVJ. Don't listen to the haters. And keep up the awesome work that you always done.
Aw, that girl did the research.
That's the dedication that I love right there. It's amazing.
I love it.
And this was a very nice email. Tiffany in Coral Springs said, this is my second or third time writing in, but I wanted to let you guys know that my kids and I love your show and have only been listening for about a year or so. Prior to listening to you guys, we listened to another show, won't name names, but it's a lot less local and was hosted by a man who is seriously obsessed with himself. I would get so aggravated listening.
And now you're listening to a show with a man who's obsessed with his hair.
Well, you know.
What show is she talking about, I wonder?
I would get so aggravated listening because it was like the whole show focused around him. The jokes were just gross. And there was this one woman who had such an annoying and loud New York accent that I couldn't stand to listen.
Oh, okay.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Compared to the lady's voice, Virginia sounds like an angel. But anyways.
I never heard that before.
Dark Angel.
I want to let you guys know that I love all your jokes and the way you guys banter and you actually care about people. You guys are lovable and humble. I also like how you include the listeners' comments and opinions, good or bad. I love listening to you every morning and continue to listen to the podcast once I get to work. You guys give me such a great start to my day, and I just want to thank you for that. You get a lot of crap that you don't deserve, especially given the fact that you bring it 100% every day, which has to be tough for anyone. So thank you for the continuous entertainment every day. And keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much to everybody in the whole crew. Thank you.
What a kind email.
Yes.
Back to back, 2 great emails.
That's because the KVJ hate song was kind of brutal today.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, all the comments I was reading, damn, you guys got roasted.
We did.
It is what it is, and
I'm going to get a nose job. Trust me, I will get one eventually.
Oh, don't listen to that bull.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that bull junk. I'm trying to do the TV edit for my swear words. It's like that'll be a good little test.
Rocco's helping you.
That son of a biscuit.
And, you know, I think, too, I'm so thankful for every listener that we have. I think it's great. And I think when it comes to a show, it's like a glove. You know, I mean, there are different strokes for different folks and different shows for different people. It depends upon what your sense of humor is. And, you know, we try to do our show for people living in South Florida that got a similar sense of humor to us. And, you know, defending so many people on radio. It's rare anymore, and I'm happy to say this. When I first got into the business, there were actually a lot of jerks and tools that were in the business. And I got to say now, I really don't know many. Like, there are a few, like,
just one, right?
They're a little disagreeable.
Just one?
But for the most part, I mean, they really are. They're amazing people. You got people that are entertaining, funny. They share their lives. They do great things for the community. And, you know, I really can't think of really hardly many at all to say anything bad to. And Elvis is an amazing individual. I got the pleasure of working with him early in my career, and he could not be more wonderful. Gave a shout out to my youngest son, Cannon, on the radio when he was born. And so I love Elvis and think he's great. And yesterday there was news that there were a couple people across the street, our old building, that were let go. And it's a sad state for me in radio. Excuse me. that some people lost their jobs. I always hate to see that. I hate to see it on the local level because I believe in local radio, and I love to see, when there's a lot of South Florida talent. And there's a couple people from our old station, Wild, Maverick, and Kelsey. We'd worked with Kelsey when we were there. It's cool. Mike Perry was let go over there as well. And then Andy Preston was let go. He was on the Gator, and he's a great dude. And he's been on that station for 28 years. And, I remember drinking several times with Andy, and just he always had a great story.
He lived the Gator.
Yes, he did.
And that's why it was so hard for us to hear that story. We heard that they let him go from the Gator, and I'm like, what the F?
Well,
he is the Gator.
If you have a guy that is about the community, and he was, and about he lived and breathed, and as I read the write-up, and, you'd see him in the hallways, you're like, hey, Andy, what's going on? He'd be like, hey, I'm just rocking my life away, man. And he was. He loved what he did.
Yes.
And he was let go this week over there. And when we had signed on here today, there was some disturbing news that had been around. And according to the story that I'm reading right now, it is confirmed that Andy has passed away.
What?
It says local radio personality. I'm sorry.
Where are you reading this, Cav?
Palm Beach Post.
Oh, that is terrible. He died after he got fired? What the hell?
Yeah, it's a very sad story.
Oh, my God.
We just got the news before the podcast. He's a absolutely great dude. Very, very, very kind man.
He really was. Everything about him was fantastic. I went on a cruise with him, and man, we had a good time. And
we spent a lot of time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Our studios literally touched.
And
we shared a wall.
This is just hard to read, but I want to try to get it out there because I wonder when I read that he had been let go after 28 years. I knew how much radio meant to him and this community. And the story said local radio personality Andrew Preston died Wednesday, a day after crashing an SUV in the Pelican Cafe parking lot. The 63-year-old North Palm Beach resident was sitting in a parked 2009 Mercury Mountaineer shortly after 9 p.m. Tuesday outside the restaurant on Federal Highway. His longtime partner, Amy Woods.
We know Amy.
Yeah. Went to get, she's fantastic as well. Went in to get in the front passenger seat of the car, and Preston accelerated. Woods was knocked to the ground and sustained a minor injury to her knee. The SUV continued through the parking lot over several parking stops, sideswiping a parked car before crashing into a tree. When the SUV stopped, Preston opened the door and fell out, hitting his head on the asphalt. He was taken to St. Mary's Medical Center, where he died Wednesday night. Sheriff's records indicate alcohol or drugs were a factor in the crash, but authorities did not immediately respond to questions. Amy said, I referred to Andy as my boyfriend, and he referred to me as his life partner. He was a longtime broadcaster on 98.7 The Gator. Most recently worked as the station's music director and afternoon drive DJ. Puerto Rican native, raised in Sarasota, graduated from Grinnell College in Iowa, where he first became involved in radio and moved around and started on The Gator in 1991. So I am crushed. I am stunned to see the story.
Yeah, it's a sad story.
That's awful.
Gosh, it is terrible. He was just an amazing guy, and I had even thought about trying to just bring him in and talk to him because he had so many good stories. I just hate that. And I thought about what is he going to do.
Do you want to stop the podcast?
I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. You just got the news, and look, it's your real emotions and feelings. So, and sometimes it's not the right time to do any comedy, or it's time to maybe just go drink a beer and.
Well, I mean, for those of us that knew Andy, I don't think Andy wanted to be on this earth without the gator. And
Well,
that is the truth about that man. He loved
he did.
everything about that rock and roll radio station.
Yeah, and it is. It's tough because this is happening. It's happening in the world, but it's especially happening in our industry. And you got a lot of guys that got into an industry that has changed and has greatly downsized. And you have people that have committed their life to doing this, and they've learned that one skill, and they've given everything that they have, their time and their focus and their training to one craft. And when you're in your early 60s, at that age, like Andy was, you're like, okay,
I'm going to ride this out.
I gave you, I gave you 28 years of my life, man, and I did everything you asked. And I was everything I was supposed to be, and he was, and then some. And then, that happens. And I get where he would be and where his thoughts would be. And I think it's just sad, unfortunately. He probably thought a couple drinks and we'll see where this goes, and it impairs his judgment. And then
he was probably heartbroken.
Yeah, absolutely. And then at that point, you don't have the full perspective of how much people like myself, truly love you and say, Andy, look, there is a place for you. Yes, you're not on the Gator, but there's a place for you, man. There is a place for you in this world. That was what you did. That wasn't who you were. You were an amazing individual. And you see something like that, and I didn't see it until last night, but I almost even text him. Just because I imagine his head was probably in a bad space. And whenever I see one of my friends has lost a job, and unfortunately it happens too often, I try to text him right away. To give him that perspective. Say, look, man, this is just what you do. It's not who you are. There's a lot of things you offer. Everything that I loved about you and that this community loved about you, you still have, and can plug in so many other places other than the radio. It's not everything that you need. But anyway, we will talk about what we can do to try to help out Amy and Andy's family, and give him a fitting tribute, because if anyone deserves it, I mean, my gosh, we talk about 20 years this year. Andy had 8 years on us when we got here.
Right.
Andy had 8 years. And was there ever any drama about Andy Preston? Was there ever?
No,
Oh my gosh,
no. That guy was so solid, man.
There was nothing ever but great stuff that you said about Andy Preston.
It's very sad.
I just can't even. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, that station does well, and he is the backbone of that station. Why he's gone, I don't know. I do not know, but.
Do you need a hug? Everyone in the chat room says, come give Kevin a hug. I'm like, Kevin's not really a hugger.
I'm not a hugger.
He's crying.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
They're giving me a hard time. Come on, Bird. Give him a hug.
Give him a kiss.
Usually,
he's not a hugger. Go plant one.
I usually like try to get my bad news when I'm home and alone, and I can do what I do, by myself. I'm not.
I know how Kevin is. He doesn't want a hug.
No, I'm good.
That's why you need to hug him.
Amy needs a hug. If someone needs a hug, it's give all your hugs to her and whatever. But gonna miss Andy Preston, and I'm sorry that his book ended that way. So we'll do more when I can get stuff together. But that's what we found out before, and that rattled me starting the podcast, because I was like, I pray that people just got their stories mixed up, that it was just that he had lost his job. And
we were literally talking about it, and we were like, oh my gosh, can you believe they let Andy Preston go? And then people were like, Andy Preston died. We're like, wait, no, you got it wrong. Andy Preston lost his job, not his life.
Right.
But he lost both. And that is just heavy.
Yeah. That is some tough stuff. So that's kind of what we got. And so we had just were talking with someone from another station about, okay, we need to get on this and group up and figure about what we're going to do. So
Get one anyway.
Hug him. Kiss him. He loves it.
You do, man. You love these people. And, I would say, radio when I got into was more others that's crossed the hall station, whatever, hating this kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, man, I love everybody in radio in this town, and pretty much everybody in radio. I don't feel that way, man. To me, I think we're all on the same team, just being on radio and trying to do what we do. So I'm sad for all the other people that don't have a job today, and I'm it's obviously especially across from my connection I have with Andy. So I am sorry to hear that, but anyway, I'm sorry to end on this kind of note. But
this is going to be awkward, but this podcast is brought to you by Butt Chicken and Seafood.
yes,
Get the crab cakes.
local,
They're delicious. They're
local, 7 locations.
Very good. Try the bird sauce.
So there you go. So, yeah, hey, just a message to people too, man. Gosh, do not ever flinch. If something inside of you is telling you to fire off a text message, I don't think it'd have done any good, but I just wish, if I'd have known.
You have the guilt because you're like, I should have, but literally you just found out about it this morning, and he was already passed away when you found out.
All you can do now is celebrate Andy.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely do that. We'll turn this around very quickly, and we'll try to put together some great stuff about that man. Truly great individual and radio person here in South Florida. Is going to be sadly missed. So there you go. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.